The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Shadow and Stardust podcast with your host, Andrea Jane. Today, we have a very special guest, Debra Rawls. She is the author of When the Divine Collide, Reiki Master, Egyptian mythologist, and an esoteric goddess. Welcome, Debra. So happy to have you.
Thank you, Andrea. I'm happy to be here.
So tell us a little. I'm doing good. Very busy day. How about you? Did you have a good day today?
Yeah, it's a good day.
Good. Awesome. I'm very glad to have you here tonight for our Wicked Wednesday. And I just want to open this up because you have just so much that you do and so much knowledge. Could you give us a little bit of insight of who you are and what you do?
Well, and this is my first life here on Earth. And my past life, it was a goddess to the sun god Ra in my past. And that's what I was. I was a goddess up in the afterlife. And I helped him with creation and universe and everything under the sun. So, and then I decided that I didn't want to be there. And I decided to implant myself down here into the earth.
That's amazing that you've been able to connect to your past life. A lot of people try so hard to learn those, ways of getting there and having that, I want to say intuition, but there's a lot more than that to be able to get that clarity. How did you meet Ra? How did that even occur?
Well, I had no signs, really. The only signs I've ever had is when I was young, I had a reoccurring dream of a pyramid in the back of my head. And I've dreamt that like 1,000 times when I was little. And then that stopped. And then I had a license plate that said Bess, which is one of the God's Bess. So I looked that up because I get my signs from the universe wherever I find them. And something told me to look up Bess, so I did. So, and that's all I did. I was done with it. I wasn't going to search anymore. And then Ra just decided to show up at my house, and I was standing there looking at out the back door and through the glass, and I could see several spirits, apparitions coming towards me. And so I just walked into my bedroom, and he came in with the rest of them, the 6 others. And he's like, I am Ra, the Egyptian sun god. And he just took over from there. So that's how I met him.
So have you studied or have you a background in Egyptian mythology before this happened, or did this occur and then you began digging in and studying, or how did that? I'm just curious, if you don't mind me asking.
Well, he was there for 7 years, 24/7. So we had lots of conversation. So the conversation that we were having is that I was seeking the universal God. So he just told me, he's like, well, I'm going to win. And then years of training, of having this sacred knowledge being passed from him to me, that's what occurred during those 7 years. But not only with him, with different gods, because we were doing universal at the time. So like Hecate and Zeus and Thor and Ishtar and Aset and Asur and Horus and Tefnut and knew, like, there's just so many different gods that I met because of him.
Now, is this like ascension?
Mm-hmm.
Is essentially ascension what you're describing, and a lot of
Yeah.
people seek that too.
Yeah. Well, I like to call one thing, this is what I was talking about yesterday, that there's ascension to me that you do with your spiritual team, your ancestors, your guides, your gods. You know, it's nice, it's gentle. You get nurtured up into that, and you go at the pace that's comfortable to you, correct?
Right.
And then what I like to call chosen ascension is what Ra did by coming into my house, because within 2 minutes, I could not stand because the energy was so thick and it was so strong. I had to lay down. And within 2 minutes, I was standing in ancient Egypt. I wasn't in my room anymore.
And that's like amazing and scary as fuck at the same time.
Yes.
Like Egypt, I am
Especially when it
so
first starts to happen to you like that, and you're like transformed into a whole nother place and nothing is familiar around you. It can freak you out. It freaks you out at first.
it's like
And,
lucid dreaming,
but awake.
but awake and like leveled up, because the
Mm-hmm.
purpose and the meaning and everything behind it. I feel like because we're spiritual workers, some people that might be listening might be like, whoa, what are they even talking about right now? Can you explain to somebody who might not know Egyptian mythology
It's
who
explain
Ra
who
is?
Ra is.
Yeah.
Ra, and this is, I learned from student master teachers, and I also, do my own research, obviously. And I learned in the spiritual realms from Ra. But I'm describing, what was the question again?
Who is Ra? Like what?
He's the Egyptian sun god Ra. So
Yeah.
the myth is that he came out and knew as the primordial waters. So that he birthed himself basically, and he rose from the primordial waters as the sun god Ra. And he is the creator. We're saying which God is first. We're not, the creator is not which God is first. The creator is just the creator. So in Nu's relationship and Ra's relationship in spiritual realm, they have a father-son type relationship, with Nu taking the role as the father. But when it comes to her creation, especially universal creation, because Ra has trained all these other creators within their realms. So he is the master designer behind that, because they always come to him in the spiritual realm and ask for permission to do something on a universal level.
God of
So
the
not
sun.
only,
Without the sun, we have nothing.
yeah, so not only is, and here's the thing, how they sit there and debate whether God is formed or formless. And the best person that I heard answer this question, he's Indian. He's like, the God, you just look at nature. I'm like, that's right. You just look at nature. You're looking at the sun. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, and do you see the sun's form? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, do you feel its energy? I'm like, yes. And I'm like, and it goes, and then I'm like, it goes all the way, across the universe, the sun energy that we have coming. So to answer the question, you just look at the nature. Yeah, the sun's a form and you feel the energy. And if you can't get behind that sort of magic, you're never going to understand the power that these gods have, that they can come down into their form and stand in front of you and appear like I'm talking to you if I was sitting across from you on the couch.
Yeah. It's a paranormal experience that I
Yeah.
think anybody could be so grateful to have, and also very terrified. Because I could just imagine. I have I feel like you have this knowledge that you so much knowledge, and I understand your written books and you're sharing this and putting it out there, and I think it's so wonderful. How what does this mean to you to know these things? What is
Well, sometimes I think to myself, they could have waited until I, passed over, and I could have just enjoyed this human experience.
yeah. I
And not
think
have
that
to deal
they're asking
with
you to
higher
start a
level
message.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when we're going to fight a spiritual war, and there I'm right there. I'm
Yeah.
like, so I had to take a break from that. I'm like, you know what, it's not my thing right now. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm busy. So he's like, well, you need to scribe. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna write. So that's how the first book came about. I'm like,
I see.
spiritual warfare, fighting, or write a book.
Mm,
I'm gonna
I'm
go
glad you wrote
scribe
this.
for a little bit.
Mm. So the rituals that you do to the gods, are they important?
Yes. Nobody prays to the gods. They pray to them, and they ask, for their petitions to be granted. But it's very rare that I see somebody actually sending protection, sending abundance, sending spiritual gift. Because there's always something that can be created, and it can be created by you if you want to make your own spiritual gift and send that to your god or goddess. You know, so doing the rituals to them for their protection, for their, self-love, and for their abundance, and, to celebrate them on their holidays, on the Heka calendar, which is Heka is just ancient Egyptian for magic. And this is
Interesting.
all stuff that you should do for your gods, because you're asking. People are normally asking for a lot. They ask for a lot, but they're not. When times get good, they ignore them. And and really, all the God wants is to be honored, respected, remembered, and loved.
Yeah. I got to ask you something. What you just said, Heka,
Yeah.
Hecate is a goddess, but a Greek goddess.
Well, where do you think the Greeks got Hecate from?
I'm just
Because
saying, like, I'm just learning
Heka
these things with you right now. Like,
Heka
that's
means magic, but it's there is a god of magic in ancient
right.
Egypt.
Who is that?
That's Heka.
I didn't know that. See, I'm learning things with you right now. That's amazing. How do you honor, aside from, what we just discussed, do you keep any type of statues, or are there specific crystals that you use for specific gods in your workings? I'm very interested in hearing about that.
In my workings, one, it depends on what I'm doing and what kind of crystal I'm going to use, because I'm going to layer that with intentions of its natural power before I ask and layer it with other intentions on top of that. So it depends on what working I'm doing. But I have statues. I only have two. I only have statues of Ra. Um, I have pyramids that I use. I like to use the pyramids to put four crystal pyramids around. And the biggest one is rose quartz. And I always put that behind Ra statue, because, that energy of love going up to the God. So that's how I layer things like that.
I like that. I have a couple crystal pyramids as well. I'm gonna. I don't remember what it's called. It begins with an S. It's rare. I want to say serpentine, but I don't think that's what it is.
Yeah, I think
Is it?
serpentine's right. Yeah.
Is that a crystal? I'm still learning. I have a serpentine pyramid, and I actually do have that set up nicely, and that is center of one of my crystal displays. I'm wondering sometimes when I'm learning things from people like you, if I'm putting things um, instinctively in their place.
I
For
move
me,
things around
really,
a lot. Yeah,
some
because I change what I'm doing because I don't do the same ritual all the time. So if I'm
right.
doing a self-love ritual, I'm setting up herbs that coincide with that. Um, the lotus flower is the number one flower that absorbs the most sun on Earth. So to have that lotus flower
That's
connect
amazing.
to the Egyptian pyramids where they have the lotus flower, hand painted and carved out, and it's a symbol all over these pyramids, and to connect that back to the sun of, that is just another portion of Ra being like, hello, here's another sign.
That's
he's,
amazing. And the
he's
lotus
done it that
flower,
way.
huh?
Hmm.
The lotus flower absorbs the most sun out of any flower on earth. Is that what you just said?
Yeah. And
That's
then
pretty
hibiscus
amazing.
and then hibiscus is next. You would think it was the sunflower, but it's not.
I know that was the first thing I thought when you said it. So I have actually studied um, herbs lately, and fun fact, the lotus flower can be used for just about anything. Now, how amazing is that? Being that it has all that energy from the sun, it's an
Yeah.
antioxidant, anti-aging. It works in digestive. It helps manage diabetes. A lot of people don't know these things. You can use it for sleep, weight loss. It's an antiviral. It has just this laundry list. Inflammation. It can regulate your blood pressure. It can help your immunity. It's literally like a do-all flower. Um,
I'm going to make a
I
lotion now and put it on my face.
I think you should. And hibiscus is also very powerful. Hibiscus is my flower. I have hibiscus tea just about every day. And
Yeah, because I make my own. We make our own lotions and we make our own ritual bath.
I
You
love
know,
that.
I do too. I love making a ritual bath. It's one of my
What
favorite things.
so on the topic of magic, what is your
Hmm.
favorite form of magic?
Um, I'm gonna have to say casting because
Okay.
it's so much thought and it's so much intention. There's so much that goes into it. There, understanding that energy, understanding, you know, what to remain private about and what you hold secret because it's sacred knowledge and you kind of have to come up layer by layer and get that kind of knowledge.
Yeah.
Some of it's, hidden gems that get dropped occasionally when I'm doing the castings, if I'm doing it live.
Hmm.
But I do it, most 99% of mine are private. But just the layering of spells as I go by, the intentions that I put down, I'll put a feather down and that feather will hold air energy. So as I go by and I speak an intention, it attaches to my feather. And that's
That's
how I work
amazing.
the air magic. Yeah.
I love that. Do you have a lot of air in your chart? Do you know your chart?
I know my big three. Like I'm a Cancer sun, a Scorpio moon, and a rising Virgo. So
Nice.
I have a lot of water in my chart.
Yeah. Scorpio moon makes you dangerous.
Oh
Be
yeah, I
careful
know.
anybody messing with you. That also gives you the that's the gas too to get you, in this all this knowledge that you have and the immense, connection to the Egyptian mythology, the realm, and not just mythology at this point. You're connected to the realm. This is just
Yeah.
it's amazing. And
Yeah, I really think when I say you chose an ascension, you have no idea what your past was, and this God just comes and plucks you up, and then you're just you're ascending like at rates that it's just astronomical. It's overwhelming.
Did you do anything before that happened?
No, nothing caused it.
Very just random, just out of nowhere. Boom.
Yeah. I didn't ask for them. I didn't conjure anybody. I mean, I had spirits that were in the house because the house we were in, it was old. And I had spirits in there, like the normal spirits, right? Like I had a World War II veteran that came out, and his leg was gangrene. So he's like, that's how I died. He's like, look at your leg. I looked down at my leg, and my leg is gangrene. I'm like,
oh
shaking
no, that's
my
too
leg.
much. I'd just be like, okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. You can go visit my neighbor now, the one to the left. I don't like, thanks. Yeah, so you're a medium. You know that, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you had these connections?
Well, to the higher realms, to the gods, to like where I just call them, 13 years.
Yeah.
But I obviously was doing my other stuff, like casting and whatnot previously.
What was your first paranormal experience, I guess?
Oh, this would be like when I was younger and I was doing the dishes and I felt a hand on my rib and I started yelling at my brother. He's like, I didn't do that.
And he's like, me. Not even there. Yeah.
He wasn't even there.
It's too much. Well, you were born medium. That's essentially what I was trying to get at. You're most likely generational, clearly generational.
Well,
and I think, yeah, for sure, for sure. I don't think they're gonna just walk up to the new kid like, "Hey, we got work to do." I think they've chosen the right person to spread their message.
It's crazy, though. I said it's crazy. I'm like, only I would do that. Only I would be like, yeah, I'm gonna go sleep for a while.
There's got to be a reason for it, though, and I think that
well, I
with
think
everything
the
that you've done,
part is important.
Yeah. So
because really, they haven't come up with much new, and people that have these oral traditions that are passed down, we sit on them. Like the ones I get, I'm honored when I receive them. I'm honored to keep that secret. And I will take that to the grave with me. And there's so much like that when you get up into those spiritual realms. I mean, you really have to think because the gods, they sit there. Excuse me. They sit there and they will question you. Like, Ra asked me one time, he's like, will you come back as 400 pounds? I'm like, fuck no.
Wait, he wants you to eat a couple of cows?
No, he's like, I wanted you to be my baby elephant. I'm like, aw.
I don't know. That would be interesting.
So I'm sitting there having that shallow moment with him, and he's just laughing. That's what he would do. He'd be like, yeah.
I wouldn't know what to do with that, to be honest. That's
it's not
amazing.
Like you can't hide from him.
I think he's trying to be funny.
You can't. Oh, he is. He used to kick my bed.
Well, do you know when his birthday is?
Hoorah!
Yeah.
No.
We gotta find that out. I bet he's a Gemini. What if he's a Gemini? Won't that be the weirdest thing? Who else is having a podcast right now discussing the birthday of the god of the sun in Egypt? Nobody. Not one person on this fucking earth. Just us. That's for the next podcast. But we've got a few more minutes left here, and I just think it's so important. Now that we've got to kind of meet you a little bit and hear about, and thank you so much for sharing because I think it's amazing. And sometimes it's taboo for people to be able to speak about these things and be comfortable with it. And I commend you for it. I really do. And being able to connect and share your knowledge, I think it's amazing. Other people sometimes, I think, might be scared having these experiences, and you've embraced it. And I just commend you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't
So,
have much of a choice.
I know, I'm learning that right now. And I just wanted to talk about your book, When the Divine Collide. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
So, When the Divine Collide, that is a book based on experiences that I have with gods and goddesses throughout multiple realms and multiple dimensions. And it goes over the story of how the god came down and what unraveled as Ra was here. Not the whole story. You don't get the whole story because, some of that's my very personal journey that I'm going to keep for me,
Of course.
as everybody should.
Absolutely.
But the stuff that you can share and that, you can feel comfortable sharing is that they want to be shared. They want to be known. They want to be, remember, I'm helping you out. And I feel like, sometimes gods just show up and they're going after their people. They're like, no, you originally are here.
Yeah. I understand that. I have I've experienced that myself, just not from Egypt.
Yeah.
Well, potentially, now that we're learning so much from you, most likely originating from Egypt, but I was given Hecate to work with when I started paying attention, and I say that humbly because I've spent a lot of my years distracted and very busy, and it took me, I was a late bloomer, but very, very cool to learn that about Hecate today with you.
Oh,
Additionally
yeah.
to
Me and Hecate went around and around for a while, and it took us a while to get on the same page because originally she thought I was for her. She didn't know the history on it because Ra didn't tell her.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I got a lot to learn. I love this illustration that you've
Yeah.
created on your books, and I know I've told you that before, but I just wanted to point it out here for our listeners too. You really have to take a look at the beautiful work and the just absolute amazing, just everything that these books have to offer. And she has a second novel now that's due out soon, The Burning Catacombs. Could you tell us
Yeah.
about that?
Well, this is when the goddess is fully awakened. She knows she's God. There's this thing where they want to say that, God was the original term. And then there were two. There was God and goddesses, but they don't really, I think it was the 1600s before they really started using the word goddess. So
Interesting.
in the realms, people will call you God. Like Zeus is like your God because of just the knowledge that they have right going on down the line, that it's not been, people don't understand. They'll research the word God and they'll be like, well, there was no goddess or this, that, and the other. Yes, there was. You just have to look at nature to figure out how universes are made.
All right.
But anyway, so this book, she's aware of all this information and everything that she's went through. So she's going to gather her people, and she's making her own path. She's like, I have my own. It's connected to Egypt. Don't get me wrong, but it can be unconnected and be just a singular path. And that's kind of what I'm working on.
I love that. I'm living that right now. I'm going to need to read this book. When is it available?
Probably in 6 months.
Nice. That's
because I
Well
needed
worth
3 months
waiting
to edit.
for. Well worth waiting for. I just think what you do is just so amazing. I hope that anybody who's tuned in tonight has the opportunity to see this amazing art and read these amazing novels. I also want to ask you, how do people connect with you for any spiritual work? What are you offering? And how do they find your books? Where can they read them, see them, buy them?
You can just Google the books and a bunch of different places will show up. Or just go to Amazon, type in my name or type in the book title, and it should pop up there.
Oh, nice. So it's on
Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon's pretty good. They're fast at their shipping, where the other bookstores are not as
Okay.
fast. So if you want it quickly, then go that route.
Is
What
there
was the other?
any places they're available just in case if somebody doesn't like using Amazon? Some people don't use it, I know.
I think it's on Books a Million, and then if you Google it, there's a bunch of local stores. Like you can go to your local bookstore and have them order it. So
Oh, okay. Wow. I didn't know you could do
you
something like that. That's cool.
oh yeah, you can do that. They'll order a book for you, not a problem.
Love it. And are you offering any services at this time?
And I do readings and different divinations like crystal ball and tarot. I like to do a compass reading, which is like was taught to me by another master. And it's something that it's a total snapshot of a reading. When you're looking at somebody, you're going to be able to give them everything that's around them. So I'm really big into that. Like I'll tell you what's going on in your physical world, what's going on in your subconscious, what's going on in your spiritual gate, and what's going on with your external world.
Oh, that's awesome. I want
Yeah.
one.
You want one?
Yeah, not right now, not
Yeah.
here. But that I've never heard of that before. Yeah, definitely. I'll
Yeah.
be booking with you when I'm able to, for sure.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
how do people get a hold of you for that?
And you can it's called Known Veracity, which is on Facebook, or you can just find me on Facebook and send me a message, Debra Rawls.
Awesome. Well, that's amazing. I think you're an amazing human being, and I just want to thank you for everything that you are doing, everything that you've done, and ultimately thank you for taking the time out of your busy day tonight or night tonight to chat with me and tell me all about you and the things that you're doing. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me. It was an honor.
All right. Well, I'll let you go, and I hope you have an amazing night. And to all of our listeners, if you're interested in connecting with Debra, please don't hesitate to do so. You won't be disappointed. And we look forward to reading The Burning Catacombs when it finally comes out. Thank you again, Debra. I hope you have a wonderful
Thank
night.
you. You too.